What's going on, guys? Got another knife review for you. I've been doing a lot of reviews today, so my voice is pretty hoarse now, but hopefully I can get through this review. And I really want to, because this is a knife that I really enjoy. This is the Warren Thomas Model 2.5. This is a user. I got this I got this one used from a guy for USN. I've been eyeing the Model 2.5 for quite a while, and Warren Thomas, he specializes in titanium knives, but obviously, titanium blades as well. And if you guys know anything about the metal properties of titanium, it's an extremely strong metal that flexes very well and remembers its positioning and all that kind of stuff, and so it makes for a very good handle material because of its size to strength to weight ratio. But as a blade steel, it's not very good by itself. And so I don't know if I doubt Warren Thomas is the person who came up with the idea, but he's definitely specializes it in the knife world. And so what he does is he carbonizes the edge, and I think for the most part on all of his knives, you're always going to get a chisel grind. And I say that I would say that Warren Thomas does the chisel grind right. As much as I love Emerson's, his chisel grinds, say for a CQC7 and stuff like that, is always on this side. So if you're slicing anything, you're always reverse. So for a lefty, it would make sense for that chisel grind to be on that side. But for predominantly right-handed people, the chisel grind should be on this side, so that for any food prep and all that kind of stuff, it pushes whatever you're cutting out this way. It slices it out. So anyway, so he carbonizes the edge here. So normally titanium, which would run at an HRC of around 45 maybe, with the carbide edge, tungsten carbide edge, now it's pushing at around 70, I think maybe even 80 sometimes on the tungsten carbide. So you get a very hard surface. So carbidizing is not just for lock faces, and in fact this titanium on titanium is not carbidized at all. I'm pretty sure it's not carbidized at all. So but on this edge, what it does is it actually allows for a very toothy edge, if you will. So all you do really is sharpen on this side and then just knock off the little burr on here, and then you get, it makes for a very sharp blade. And some people say a self-sharpening blade. So as this edge wears down, it won't wear down on the carbide side, and so as it goes down, it'll basically just get sharper and sharper with the carbide edge. Maybe every once in a while you strop it just to touch up the edge. What Warren Thomas also typically specializes in is, on his scales, more often than not, whatever the presentation scale is, you'll get a portion of that infused onto this side of the blade. So the Model 2.5 that I was looking at a long time ago was this red G10 model, just really sharp looking. It was like Ferrari looking, and so it had a bright red G10 slab, and then a red G10 like infused onto the titanium. And I don't know how he does it. I'm assuming, I don't think it's glued on there, but it just looked amazing. And so I'm a little bit bummed that this version didn't have, say carbon fiber. He does carbon fiber fusing to here. He's got a production collaboration with Beretta, the gun company. So, but basically it's a G10 blade. I'm sorry, not a VG10 blade that's infused with carbon fiber, and it actually looks pretty sharp. But I don't know. I think I've heard relatively good things about the knife, and it's relatively cheap. But yeah, this is his full custom model. So obviously with the carbon fiber handles, titanium blade, unfortunately not the infused carbon fiber on here. It does have the carbon fiber plate here for overextension, which is a good, nice feature. I think it looks sharp. It looks beautiful against the titanium here. Titanium's all, I think, bead blasted or sand blasted, so you get it's just a very sharp looking knife. You know, with the marks and all that kind of stuff. Not a huge deal. I like this as a user. I'm glad it's a user, so I can actually, you know, pocket it and use it and all that kind of stuff. Inside, complete flow-through design. You know, relatively, it's not the thickest slab. You know, on my carbon fiber Crusader Forge that I sold to Vance, you know, it's got way thicker carbon fiber slab, but you know, it's thick enough. There's no flex in this at all. You know, considering all you have is this stop pin right there, and then this huge just barrel standoff right here, as well as this really large hex screws. I'm assuming that here is also a barrel. I'm not sure if it's as big, but I'm pretty sure it's probably a pretty big barrel in here as well, probably bigger than a Strider's. And then inside, I believe you've got Teflon washers in there. This stop pin, I'm assuming, is also titanium, so titanium on this blade tang, so titanium on titanium interface and all that kind of stuff. It's a very smooth knife. It doesn't flick out like that well because the blade is so light. Titanium, you know, again, is such a light metal material, and just the overall weight of this knife is ridiculously light. I don't have a small scale or anything like that, but I'm probably thinking that this is somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2 to 2.5 ounces. I think it's one of the lightest knives I've ever owned. I think it's lighter than this Buck Mayo, you know, that has S30V steel. This also has titanium and a carbon fiber slab, and it's smaller than this Warren Thomas, but because of this titanium blade, I think it's as light as this Buck Mayo. You know, definitely lighter than, say, like a small Sabenza and all that kind of stuff, due to the carbon fiber and all that kind of stuff. Centering is a little bit off. No, just just kidding. Obviously, because it's chisel grind, so it's going to be like the Emerson. So it hugs the edge right here. So actually, centering is perfect on this blade. Warren Thomas's engineering and his fit and finish it's great on this knife. So I haven't taken this knife down. I think eventually one of these days I will, to give it a nice cleaning and put some nice grease in there to smooth it all out. But overall, right now, it's very smooth. You know, there's just no stick whatsoever in here. Detent is good on this knife. Again, flipping it out, you can do it, but you have to kind of flip it out aggressively with your thumb. It's very comfortable in the hand. Reverse grip, forward grip. Again, I wouldn't say this is a tactical knife, you know, just due to the titanium blade and all that kind of stuff, but probably one of the most capable EDC blades out there, just because it's so light. Nut and Fancy would love this knife just because it's so light. Definitely kick his crappy SOG Flash 1 out of his pocket, because you know, this is, again, at 2 some ounces with all this blade, 3.5 inches of blade that you're getting, you know, chisel grind, all that kind of stuff. It's an awesome knife. It's you know, very ergonomic and all that kind of stuff, and I can't say enough about this knife. Warren Thomas, it's one of those knife makers that I didn't really know too much about. I always saw all those alien patterns and all the anodizing that he does on his blades and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. Just amazing art pieces, if you will. But that's kind of that was my impression of them. They're kind of just art pieces with titanium blades, so they're going to be a little fragile when you cut. But you know, I've done some cutting with this blade, and it's definitely held up just fine. Sharpening it, after I learned how to sharpen the titanium and all that kind of stuff, it worked out pretty well and all that kind of stuff. So this carbide edge, you're gonna have to take off a lot of titanium to get past all this carbonization. And if you ever do sharpen to the point where you exceed or go beyond this carbonizing, you could just carbonize it yourself even more if you wanted to. So there's the life of this blade is gonna last for quite a while. So again, quick size comparisons against the VCP right here. Very similar blades, blade length and all that kind of stuff. A little shorter because of the VCP handle size. Here's the Three Sisters Forge Beast right here. I rounded out the butt so it's not quite as angular, so it's much more comfortable. Unfortunately, it's like polished around here now instead of sandblasted. So aesthetically is not as great, but this is a user, so that's okay. And then of course the Sebenza, very similar size to the Sebenza. Yep. Alright, so yeah, the Warren Thomas, he has a lot of funky designs. The Sin Raptor, the Sinbat, the all these other crazy knives that he makes, Balisongs and Karambits and all that kind of stuff. But the Model 2.5 is I think one of the best EDCs that I've ever carried, with all the knives that I've owned in the past and all that kind of stuff. So with its weight in the pocket, man, it just completely disappears in the pocket due to its weight. So again, knife this size, I think the VCP probably weighs in around 5 to 5.5 ounces. Sebenza is around 4.7 or so. So at 2, it's got to be like 2 something for this knife, especially with the carbon fiber. That makes it even lighter than just titanium slabs. I'm looking at a website, knifeart.com. They have a dual titanium slab Warren Thomas Model 2.5 as well, and it's at 3.7 ounces. So with the carbon fiber, I'm assuming it's dropping at least half an ounce to a full ounce right there. So all right, so anyway, Warren Thomas, great knife maker. I'm hoping to get something more from Warren Thomas in the future if I can. Definitely a knife maker that's very much on my radar now. Yeah, I think he might be one of the most sought out custom knife makers for me personally, just based on my impressions of the 2.5. Alright, so anyway, thanks guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think on the comments down below, and I'll see you guys on the next vid. Bye.